Hey guys.
Hello.
How's it going?
All right.
I'm Drew from Maker Made. Just eating a little bit of lunch here, but yes, Q&A session that we do every week to help out and answer any questions and help you get started with anything that's going on with CNC. So how can I help you guys today?
I'm Zach. I just received my Maker Made. I'm down in Puerto Rico. It came no problem in the USPS, so that was cool.
I'm bummed to hear about that satellite.
Oh yeah, over in Arecibo. Yeah, those
That's so cool. I remember it from like James Bond and stuff, and that radio telescope is awesome.
Totally. Yeah, I've never really used a CNC machine. I've been a graphic designer for over a decade. I do a lot of stuff with Illustrator and vector graphics, and in the more recent years, I've kind of stepped more away from the computer and been building stuff, and in wood and cement and whatever I can get my hands on. And I just thought that this would be a nice way to kind of bring those two worlds together.
Yeah, totally. I mean, especially for like large projects. Oh, hey, Vincent, I recognize you. How's it going? Yeah, that's great. So have you had it set up yet?
No, I literally just got it like this week. So awesome. I've got to go get some lumber, and I got my router. I've got everything. So I just kind of had a few questions about where I can set it up, the noise levels that it creates, if it's like something I could put in a stairwell kind of. I have like a staircase that goes up, and I've got a good like 10-foot by 5-foot space in there that's kind of unused.
Mm-hmm. So the space, it's pretty much up to you. That's the cool thing about it. Like so this is a little 4x4 frame that I have it set up with.
Okay.
And then, so you can kind of change. There's even smaller ones that you can go down to even like 2x4 feet if you wanted to, like whatever sizes you want to go with. The big thing is some space concerns with how tall it is. So the length that you have, you want to make sure that you have at least 18 inches from the top of your wasteboard to the top of where your chains would come off the motors, which that's usually around like, I want to say it's about like 7 feet tall.
Okay, I got that.
Yeah, so if you've got that, then that's good. Yeah, so you just need that space that that you can set up. That's where you can attach the because I assume you're probably gonna attach it to the wall. So where you can attach the top beam. Okay, cool. And then the wasteboard. So you just want to make sure that you have those two that you can set on there. And then if you're gonna be in a stairwell and it's gonna like move, you don't have to screw the wasteboard down. You could just mount these mounts here. And then like that mount to the top of the wasteboard, and then you can like clamp it on there.
Cool.
When you move, and then you can just like move your whole like wasteboard assembly. When you're ready to cut, you can just move it and then set it in that space, and then you can kind of like put it to the side or something like that. And you can get
cool. And one more question I had was, I mean, I see that you have yours inside. I have the shop vac. I got the DeWalt router with the thing, so it should be not messy and shouldn't create a disaster in the house, I guess, of dust and.
It's gonna be a little messy. I mean, you're cutting wood, so
yeah.
I mean,
I was just wondering because I just want to, I run it by my family and stuff, and
So like when I crank mine up, I can like close the door and I can like turn the TV on and like do stuff in the other room, but you can hear it going. It's loud.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Especially the shop vac, like my dust collection right here, like that's the loudest thing. Like this dust collector is louder than my router. When I crank that thing up, it's like rumbling back here. So that's in a stairwell that might be like an echo chamber too. So I mean, it's gonna be kind of loud.
Probably be loud. It probably will be loud.
It's gotta cut the wood. But I mean, I'm used to it, so I can just like close I'm like in a back bedroom that I've converted into like a studio workspace. So
cool.
Yeah, I just kind of close it and then go in the other room and then work on stuff, and then it's fine.
I think just go for it, bro. Just go for it.
I'm going for it.
Later. Ask the questions later, man. It's like shoot first, ask questions later.
All right,
Mike, come on, man. Not everybody's shooting from the hip, dude. I shoot from the hip though too. But yeah, it's if you're gonna be mounting stuff into the wall, like make sure you hit your studs too. I missed one of my
Yeah.
studs with my stud finder.
I'm in cement.
Screwed my wall
I've got
up.
cement walls.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got mine's on a brick
Okay.
wall.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
When you're mounting it too, like make sure that your top beam is level and your wasteboard is level and they're level with each other. So you want to make sure that you've got those levels. So when you're going to the concrete, like you might want to like double and triple check, you know, maybe like put one in one side and then, you know, make sure that the other one is exactly level before you put the other one in. And that's the big part. Just make sure that's level. We got a good group today. This is awesome.
Okay, so I got some questions.
What's up? I'm not sure who that was. You can unmute or you guys can type if you want. You can turn your cameras on. That's up to you. However you guys want to go about it.
Can you hear
Is that it,
me?
Zach? Do you have any more questions or?
Hey, what's the password for the meeting?
Make it.
Make it.
Like with a space between make and then it.
That's what I thought, but see, it says
Can you hear me?
passcode. What?
I heard you. I heard somebody. Was that Donald?
Someone's breaking up pretty bad.
Is that
You guys
me
can use
that's
the
breaking
chat
up?
if you
Or?
want.
You're breaking up a little bit.
How's it going, Vincent?
Pretty good actually. Yeah, this guy Bo you see down here, he's my buddy that I've been working on this with.
Awesome. Hey, Bo.
Last night we finally got got all the new firmware installed, got the software installed, the updated beta software.
Oh, for beta? Okay, cool.
So we ran through some, got the chains measured, ran through some calibration tests. We're getting pretty accurate, but like, yeah, I guess the we did the Holy calibration and found it was actually giving us less accuracy than just the edge calibration.
Okay.
And I guess, yeah, we're trying to really dial it in. We're ready to start cutting, basically. I think we got down as low as it was giving us readings like 3.6 millimeter accuracy.
Yeah.
We'd like to take it,
Getting
as low as
closer.
possible. So we're just kind of trying to figure out, like, number one, are you guys doing any further releases to the software once it becomes like a public release? And then two, are there any other just like, key factors to kind of consider when doing these calibrations
Yeah.
with the new software?
Yeah, totally. So number one, yes, for sure. So we're like pending in the app stores and everything right now. So the beta version is getting ready to be released in the app store, and because it's kind of like a break fix type thing, we've got to take it where the that first version you have to uninstall from your computer, and then you install the new one, and then from there you can get the updates like through the app. So you can kind of like keep going through the app and take all those updates through there. So we're trying to get in the app stores first, both the Windows App Store and in the Apple App Store. So then when we're in both of those stores, then it's going to be way easier for us to do updates and stuff into the future. We just like have to get in there, and it's been pending now for like 2 weeks or something like that. So it kind of like varies on how long it's going to take as it's kind of like moving around. So we think it's going to be like in 2 weeks. It should be in the store, and then we can start coming out with like other updates and things like that. And that's why like the beta has been so awesome, because we're trying to tune in like those best calibration settings to go through it. And I've done some in the beta, but I haven't been involved intentionally a little bit in the beta version until it's like ready to rock. And then I'm going to like jump in and start using it as like a fresh user and like fresh eyes on it. So I've done it with just the Maslow, but I haven't done it with the M2 because I want to jump in like when it's completely fresh and then start doing it and start like knocking it out.
That's awesome.
So that's what, as soon as that gets active, then I'm going to jump in there with fresh eyes and then start going through with like feedback and things like that. So we're definitely working on kind of like getting all that stuff dialed in, because it's a bunch to get in there, as you guys know. So we really appreciate you helping out. So so as we're going with like I'm sorry, what was the second question? I just saw Patrick walking up my driveway right now. What was the second question again?
Oh, it's really just about, so I mean, it kind of sounds like you haven't really played with this feature. It's got I guess, incorporated the holy
calibration. Yes.
And so what we were finding is we were actually getting way higher accuracy just doing the edge calibration.
Okay.
Hey, you're talking about the edge calibration and the actual the precision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's happened to me too. But for that, you have to actually verify that.
Patrick here. Hey guys.
What's up, Patrick?
Hey Mike. What's up?
How's it going? What you have to do for that, you have to. That's what happened to me too, as well. Was when I was going to the precision. But I don't know if you've moved your nail. Let me see if I can get my laptop. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Like you see how it used to be. I don't know if you can you see right here? It used to be over here, about 14 inches. Ever since I moved it right there, it's honestly, it's helped me out a lot, especially with the precision. So it's been pretty good. But I don't know where yours is at.
Yeah, so like some of the base things to keep in mind, like the biggest one, especially when you're trying to get it like all the way dialed in, is to make sure that like your top beam and the wasteboard are level with each other. And then you want to make sure that the chains aren't slipping or anything else too. So if you've got some different material on there, this ring carriage right here, you can actually adjust it like up and down to make sure that the chains are taut on it as it's moving around and it's going down. Because if it like is slipping or clicking or anything like that, that can make it move even by like tiny bits as you're trying to get it dialed in. So
I
you just
think
trying to get it dialed into like got down to like 3 millimeters. They're trying to get it like way dialed in beneath that. So
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
No, I think we got it set up. We checked all our levels. We completely broke down our old frame and like reinstalled it with the wall mounts and everything, and feel like we're there. Yeah, no, it sounds like we're doing everything kind of right on point right now. So
double check your
have you
motor.
guys tried yet, or is it just moving it and like measuring where it is? Okay. So
Yeah,
is it measuring the cut? Are you guys measuring the cut itself?
Measuring
Just the movement.
Just the movement. Yeah, just the movement so far. Yep.
Yeah, with the holy calibration, you have to make those pinholes with the router.
Right. Yeah, we actually did the holy calibration with drilling the holes in. And it's interesting, like with the edge calibration, we got down to 3.6 millimeter accuracy is what the software was giving us. And then on the holy calibration, even using calipers and everything to the center of the holes, we're only at like 6 millimeter accuracy.
Gotcha.
But we're definitely willing to play with it some more. I did see that in the software said maybe use a smaller end mill.
What size of end mill are you using? 1/4 or 1/8?
We're using a 1/4 inch end mill.
Yeah, I use the 1/8.
Yeah, you can try an 8, and then that'll help you be a little bit more accurate too, because you're kind of guesstimating. I mean, especially when we're down to like 3 millimeters, you're kind of guessing where the exact middle is. So if you've got like a 1/4 inch hole, if you're trying to guess exactly where that middle is, that can be kind of tough to kind of like get that going. And also like little stuff with the frame can cause it to be off a little bit too. So like making sure there's another support board like across the back to make sure that it's not like bowing out a little bit, because that could cause it, especially down like 3 millimeters is so small. So like it could be moving out a little bit and then coming back, and that up, back, and out could like squish it or stretch it out like as it's moving. So because these aren't completely flat, like no matter what kind of board you get. So it helps to have like another brace like along the back to get it to get down.
Can you hear me better now?
There you go. Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. I've had this thing for about 2 months now. And first the board didn't work. And then I got a board that worked. And now my Z-axis, it goes fast in one direction and real slow in the other direction.
Okay.
And
So if you Is that like, is it randomly, or is it like when you are doing the movement controls like inside of Makerverse?
Out of Makerverse, it's just fast in one direction, like normal speed,
Okay.
and then real slow in the other direction.
Which direction?
Fast on what direction? Up and down?
Yeah.
Away from the board.
Like it's going fast when it goes away?
Yep.
Okay. That sounds like that could be something with the Z motor connection. Like you could have one of the wires could be loose, like in the little connector wires. here.
I've checked it. I've unplugged it, plugged it back in. I even ordered another Z motor from you guys, thinking it might be the motor.
Have you checked your grub screws?
Yes, your grub screws.
Yeah, because sometimes like something little can be loose, like when it's moving around.
Like their play, can you play?
Oh, you mean on the shaft?
Yeah, can you play with the? Can you put your hand on the router and move it up and down? Would it move?
Yeah, does it move? Because it shouldn't.
No, it's nothing to do with any of that. It's the motor itself. I can have the motor completely disconnected. The shaft will move fast in one direction and slow in the other. And
But it's
two different
almost
motors are doing it. Like I said, I bought another motor, had it out from you guys, and both motors are doing the same thing.
So is it? It's going the full distance. It's not going slow and not making it all the way, or is it both?
Oh, I'm missing that. It's cutting out.
Yeah. So you're saying it's
I'm
going
missing what you're
slow,
saying.
but is it's traveling the correct distance, just very, very slowly.
Yeah, I haven't checked the distance.
Your
It's
video
so
is probably
slow
not
that moving
helping.
5 millimeters takes forever.
Wow.
So was that when trying to get, so you've checked the connections on both the board and the motor connection, correct?
Yeah.
Gear ratios are
My guess is
Did
either
you
the part that it plugs into the board has either
Yeah.
come loose or my cable's no good.
Yeah, it sounds
Maybe
like
a
it's
cable.
a connection error of some sort. Like because it should be getting, like there's a signal going there because it's going in one direction. So yeah, I'm
Going in
thinking,
both
like,
directions,
it's-
just the one direction it's going is real slow.
What direction
here's
is
something
it?
you can
Slow, up or
try.
down?
you could take that same wire and plug it into one of your top beam motors, and then do the same
Mhm.
commands and see if it moves. And if it only moves weird in one way or in another, then that can help you kind of like figure that out. And then same thing goes for like this one. Like if you can plug one of the top like XY motors in to right here,
I don't think.
and then
No, you can't. It's a different plug.
oh wait, that's right.
Different plugs. The Z axis and the Y axis and are they're different plugs. The Y
That's
and
right,
the
they're
the
different
Y and
motors.
the
I
Z,
forgot about
the
that.
Y and the X are the same.
Yeah.
It's different.
Let's see.
I'm wondering if
Well,
there's
if it's the motor, if you got another motor, it just
New
might
motor and you got a new
be
board.
the cord. It might
It's
you got
gotta
another
be.
cord.
It's got to be the cord. Which is weird, because it's kind of uncommon that those can go out, but there might be something loose in there or something like that. Like that's the thing that I can think of. It's got to be like a connection error of some sort, especially if it's jogging around and moving fine on X and Y. So is that all moving correctly like it's supposed to?
Yeah.
Okay, it's got to be the cord then. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
I want to know how slow are you talking about? Like how slow? Like is it like take like a whole minute slow, 30 seconds slow?
Like super slow, man. Here, it might get a little loud. I'll turn it on. I'll turn the video on and show you. Just give me a second. Oh, I gotta plug the USB in.
you know, when we were first installing it, we actually had a little bit of trouble with the actual housing, the 3D printed housing, and the shield wasn't seated completely properly on our Arduino, and we had to like modify the actual housing just with a Dremel, cut it out, and like to really get a perfect seat on there, because our XY motors were having a little finicky issue, like where one wouldn't spin and then it would spin, and then so that's just like, I have no idea if that's it, but it is a possibility that if the shield for some reason gets seated a little wacky, it could definitely cause some issues.
the only other thing I can think of is that there's some command that could have been.
Okay, here, I'll show you. Just,
Yeah.
I'll put it on the
So, like,
video right now.
By
It
just, like,
changed the
reflashing?
understanding of the gear ratios on that direction, but that
Yeah.
would be weird that it wouldn't apply to both.
Yeah. Billy, have you typed in any like different G-code commands and stuff like that into Makerverse as you're troubleshooting?
Into the console.
Now it's not moving at all.
Okay.
Is
And
the,
it's
is the
powered
motor
on.
is the motor humming?
Do you hear the whine of the do board, like the high pitched whine?
I heard it.
Hold on.
Okay. So going and working again.
Hello.
Calibrated to-
Sorry. I'm running off satellite internet. It doesn't work very well. Why isn't it going on at all?
Make sure it's plugged in on the Z axis on top. So sometimes it's real loose for some reason. Real loose.
Yeah, no, I've checked all the connections several times. I'm absolutely sure it's not the connections.
And your do boards, like both the boards are connected all the way together.
There we go.
Where are you located at?
Edmonton, Alberta.
I don't know where that's at. I was if you were with an
Yeah.
hour away, I wouldn't mind going, but
That's Canada.
It's got it. I'm thinking it could be like. Have you reflashed your firmware or done
Okay,
anything
here,
with that?
I'll show you now.
Okay. It looks like it's
yeah, I see
moving.
it.
Yeah.
It's moving, but it's not moving fast the way it's supposed
moving
to.
slow.
Where's this
Yeah, it
belt?
is.
Do you take your belt off to troubleshoot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about the other way?
Sorry?
What about when you go the other way?
It goes regular speed.
Let's see.
Okay. So you could try reflashing your firmware because it could be that there's some sort of weird console command in there. Okay, so there's like some troubleshooting steps to figure out. So I would say
did
first,
like 3 times.
okay, you've already done that. Okay, awesome. You've checked you reflashed
Yeah,
the firmware.
I
you
flashed
checked
the
connection.
firmware. I deleted
Tried it before.
Makerverse, reset Makerverse, like re-downloaded Makerverse like 3 times, redid the firmware 3 times.
Are you using the beta version or the 1.0.6?
No, the regular one, not
Okay.
the beta one.
Why don't you try the the beta version?
Well, I don't know if that's going to be I'm not sure if it's.
Because
So if you've already tried flashing
if
your
he's gonna
firmware-
reflash his
Well,
firmware,
unless you flash to the new version of the firmware and you're using the old Makerverse.
the flash
No,
doesn't-
I'm using the newer Makerverse.
Okay, like which version of Makerverse are you using?
Just a second, I gotta open the computer again.
Is it
It's 1.06 or something like that.
But you flashed to the latest version of the firmware?
Yes.
That might be your issue then. So you flashed for a version of the firmware for the beta version of Makerverse.
Hold on, I'll tell you which firmware I'm using. I have it on my computer here.
But did this issue start before he did that?
I'm not sure. Yeah. Let's see.
Where is it now? Oh, no, that's not it. Where'd I save it on here? Is it in here? No. Hold on, give me a second. I'm having troubles finding it now.
That's okay.
Oh, Maslow do.
Okay.
There
Yeah.
it is. It's the
Yeah, there's one-
maslowdo.ino.
Let's see
I never knew.
if that's the beta version of the firmware. Let me find the newest version here.
The newest version of the Arduino is 1.8.3, I think it is.
1.8.3. Okay.
Yeah, I think it is. That's the Arduino.
Yeah, that's the Arduino IDE software. I can't remember. Bo, do you remember what the firmware version was? No.
I can look. I don't know.
We just downloaded it from GitHub, I think.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I was looking right now. Well, I'm in here. Where's the version?
So I don't want to take up your whole meeting.
No, it's fine.
I thought maybe if you could contact me.
I'm thinking that
Monday
it
or
must be.
It's actually interesting to listen to this.
Yeah, it's helpful for us too because we're all hitting trouble, you know, here and there.
I mean, it's a complicated machine. So
Yeah.
appreciate your patience for sure. Like, so I'm thinking that it must be. It's either it could be that you're using the newest version of the firmware and not the beta version of. So you're like using the new firmware with the old Makerverse, but I don't know what the issues. I know that it won't work right, but I don't know exactly what issues that could be causing. So I'm thinking that it could be that, and then number two, I'm thinking that it could be the cord. So have you talked with support? Have you sent us an email about it?
Yeah, I don't want to be Mr. Complaining today, but support kind of is sporadic.
Yeah, we're trying to fix that. We're trying to fix
Hey,
that.
hey, put me on the payroll.
I've been doing it via.
That's why we're doing
Put
stuff
me
like
on the
this.
payroll and I'll help y'all.
Yeah,
I've been doing it
hard.
via
I mean,
Facebook Messenger.
we're trying to fix some stuff to stay on top of it better and get some backend stuff implemented.
Yeah,
so
I've been doing it via
I did.
Facebook Messenger, and the first issue I had with the bad board, that was fixed quickly, and I was quite impressed. But ever since I've had this issue, I almost feel ignored.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry.
I sent a message. I was very frustrated. I sent a message that I'm pretty much done. I wanted to send it back, and nobody got back to me for over 2 weeks.
I'm sorry.
If Patrick is hearing this, I'm sure he'll send you a cord.
So we're trying to move from Facebook Messenger because so much stuff is getting lost in Facebook Messenger. We're trying to move our support to email so we can have everything better because stuff is getting lost. And
Have y'all looked at these Zendesk?
Losing stuff. So it was hard for us to keep track of some things. So we're trying to move all of that to support. So if you can send an email to support@makermade.com and like you can CC me in it too if you want. So I'm Drew at makermade.com, and then I'll make sure that we get you a new cord and we figure out what's going on with it. And
I'll tell you this: as somebody that owns 3 Maker Mades and has used them for years, their support they are usually outstanding. So I truly believe that if they're having issues responding to you, it's because there's something with the messaging because they have been like above and beyond with us. We've never had issues. So if they've been of all the
So I
things
just
we've been working with,
I just opened it. How can I tell you which one I'm using? I just opened it in.
do you have the Arduino
So
build?
it's 1.8.13.
I think that
is
is
the
it.
one I'm using.
That's the new Arduino. Yeah, but see, you can still use that one with the 1.0.6 because I was telling you earlier, Drew, it works on both of my MacBooks. You know, the updated Arduino.
So you have the same version and you're working it.
Yeah, I have the
It's
same
gotta
version
be
of
that
mine.
cord then.
No,
Yeah, it's got to
it
be
might
that
be a
cord
cord.
built.
Because I have 2 MacBooks and it's doing the same. I have one with 1.06 and then the
Yeah.
original and then the one with the beta. That way, if one of them doesn't work, well, I could use the other one. You know, but they both work.
Let's get
They
the
actually
cord.
both work with the
We can
new.
get that in the mail to you. Like I said, like if you can email, that's the best. If you can, and so I'm Drew at MakerMade.com and then support at MakerMade, or you can send it right to me and I'll forward it to support, and we'll make sure that we get you a new Z-wire for sure, and we can get that in the mail, and we'll help you get to the bottom of it for sure.
Where are you located?
He's in Alberta.
He's in Canada.
Yeah, he's in Canada.
Because I know one thing we've been talking about doing is getting all the Maker Made group together for just like besides this Q&A session, just have Maker Made speakers. So because I'm a user. I've got and I think it'd be great to have a lot. It's been great to see other experiences too from other Maker Made users. So I think that at the first of the year, starting getting that going too would be helpful.
Yeah, so
Like
on the first of the year, like every Friday, we'll have like hangouts where we can talk about stuff and go through things, because that's one of the things that we wanted to do to be like involved in the community, because we are involved, but more like face-to-face involvements, especially because everybody's used to doing video conferencing now. So having like a standing like the question and answer sessions like every Thursday, and then it'll be then the next 2 Tuesdays over the break, and then but every Thursday after that, and then every Friday will just be like a hangout and talk projects, talk about, you know, if we've got Q&A, like we can obviously do tech support and stuff like in there too, and just like help work with everybody. So yeah, for sure. Like we're gonna kick those back up when it gets into
I try a little bit too. They're tearing our roof apart. I finally had a fit with our roof, so they're redoing our roof on our building.
So yeah, Cameron, so I see that you've got you've been doing 2x2 squares and it's a 1/2 inch off. So when you say 1/2 inch off, can you kind of explain that like a little bit more? Can you?
Yeah, so it'll be like 1.5 inches tall by 2 inches wide. And it's pretty repeatable. So I'll do the tuning, I'll reset everything, go to the center of the board, do the measurements again, put in new measurements. And it will definitely fix it a little bit. Like I've got it up to about 1/4 inch off. And then, you know, I'll kind of be in the back in the same situation. You know, you keep trying to tinker with it and it keeps getting worse or better. I've never quite got it dialed in.
One thing that could be causing that is not a large enough distance between the top of your wasteboard and the top of the chains where they come off the motors.
Yep. I'm looking at yours and mine is definitely not that far of a distance.
So it needs to be at least 18 inches.
Okay.
Because it works with 2 right-angled triangles that interact with each other. So like each motor has one for it to kind of like move around. And if it doesn't have at least that big of a distance, then it's like the triangles are squished and it'll like squish your cut. So like when I first built this, I was thinking, well, maybe I could just like scale it down a little bit because it's going to be a smaller frame. Nope, that was a terrible idea because it did the same thing. It like squished it down like as it was moving, and I needed to move it back up a little bit. And it wasn't a whole lot. I ended up having to move it. It was like maybe a 1/2 inch or an inch up. But then when I did that, that helped it. Because now it's it's like right when the chains come off of the top of the motors to the top of your wasteboard right here. That's that distance. So if you look at the like newest version of the guide, that kind of has all those measurements all lined out where you can get the distance. It's about 9 inches between the top of each one of your stud mounts. So for like the top of the stud mount for the wasteboard, it's about 9 inches up to the bottom of your top beam one. And then that gets you that 18 inches that you're looking for. So that could be causing it why it's being squished.
Oh, I just measured it, yeah, and I basically followed the guide when I built it. And it looks like it's 9 or 10 inches from the top of the bar to the top of the wasteboard.
So the top of the chain.
Top of the chain. Yeah, okay. All right.
Probably still not enough.
All right, yeah, I mean, just looking at your example there, I can definitely tell mine is much smaller. Does that change for going to a longer board? I bought the 15-foot chains to make so I can do a full 4x8 sheet.
Yes, but before you use those chains though, you can try moving your nail. And I know that like Drew, they've moved their nail like over to the side. So like an inch up from the bottom and then like almost to the edge, like only like 6 inches or maybe 9 inches from the edge to like move that nail over. And then that stretches the spring out. And then that can help you get to the corners better.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you here. So I'll be walking over there and I'll show you.
You also need a 12-foot beam if you're going to do a 15 chain.
Yeah, I have a 12-foot. I went to a steel beam just to make sure that I don't have any flexing.
If you're doing that full scale though, I would take it more than 18. Like you've got enough chain there to go to like 24 inches. That's only going to help you be more accurate at the top.
Yeah. So if you're going like a larger beam, then you want the triangle to be bigger. So you probably need 24 inches. If you're
I have all the space in the world. It's 12-foot bay, so that's not a problem.
Cool.
I could do that then. Yeah. Great, thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
And hey, Drew, sorry, I'm back. I lost my phone.
See you guys.
What's up, Bill?
My phone died. Sorry, I'm back. It cut you guys
Oh, it's
off
fine.
there.
Did you send me an email so we can make sure we get you that cord?
No,
Yeah,
I didn't. I got
Yeah, if
cut
you
off
can send
before
me an
that.
email, then just so either me or with support and tag me in it, then we'll make sure that we get you the cord that you need to get you up and running. Because I mean, it's got to be a mechanical thing. That's what I'm thinking. Because it seems like you've done all this stuff and tested a bunch of things. So that's what I'm thinking that it must be.
Yeah, I've gone over and over on everything. Like we talked on the Facebook meeting about a month back, and I had
Okay.
the same board problem. If you don't raise your board high enough, it'll actually jerk your sled around because the chains are pulled on too hard.
Is this like moving around? Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I got that problem fixed, and then the Z-axis started up.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things that's tough. There's a lot of like moving parts when it's going around. I mean it's a kit, so there's like trying to get to the bottom of it. You know, like with my background is 3D printing, sometimes it could be 6 or 7 different things. Like why it's not 3D printing.
Yeah. No, I'm just frustrated because it's been like over 2 months and I still haven't got the thing to work.
Well, I'm sorry, man, that you've had some trouble. And have you been in the owners group on Facebook too?
Yeah, they helped me with a lot, actually, the group
Awesome.
in Facebook, right? I've had a lot of questions on there, and there's actually one gentleman on there, I can't remember his name, but he actually showed me how to do the flashing the board.
Awesome. Okay. Sweet.
So
Yeah,
he actually got on a video chat with me, and me and him went through that together. So
Yeah. Do you have a beard? A long
Why
beard?
don't you just try the actual the 1.212 1.1.2 the beta? You have nothing to lose. That's just me.
I could try it, but I don't even know where to get it.
That's easy, man. Just link up with me after this. I'll do it for you. Just as long as you have like any desk or team viewer, man, I'll be happy to help you, man. So just
Well, I skipped work for this meeting actually, so I got to run to work right after. But
no worries, man. Let
You
me
can go to
know.
Makerverse.com and find the beta.
okay.
Makerverse.com if you want to. Yeah.
And to get a hold of you on email, how do I do that?
Drew@makermade.com.
Okay.
Or support@makermade.com and CC me in it. But if you send it right to me, I'll make sure it gets to the right place.
And
So
what's your
Drew
example?
at MakerMade, all one word? No.
Yes. Drew@makermade.com.
Okay.
I'll tell you this: once you finally get it up, sometimes it can be takes a little bit to get them going, but once you get it up, it is worth it. It's awesome. It's like I guess an archery or something like that. Once you finally get a feel for your machine, you know it's great.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, I
beginning
know.
steps
I've done
is the
lots
hardest
of
part.
research on it, and I've done lots of watching what people have made and stuff, and so I know it's a good machine once it's going. It's just getting it going that I'm having the issue with.
Yeah, man, I hear you. I'm sorry that you've had so much trouble.
It's the only reason I've actually been as determined as I am to get it going and still have it.
Think about how awesome it's going to be when you get it, though. You're going to be stoked.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be the expert, answer questions in the Facebook group.
Yeah, well, the disappointing part is I was really looking forward to making some Christmas gifts with it.
Well, maybe you can get it up and running. It can happen. We can
Yeah.
we're trying to get that cord to you as quick as possible, man. So
Okay. Yeah, no, I'll definitely email you right after this meeting and
okay.
go
Hey,
from
hey
there.
Billy, I just tossed in the group chat there the firmware download and the software download for it. The links.
I don't even see the chat. I'm on my phone. I
If you
don't
go to
even
the
see
bottom
it.
of the chat. On your phone, it might be a little bit different if you're on your phone. I think it's at the bottom now. I think if you like tap the bottom, then you'll see the chat. But I think it takes up the whole screen when you do it.
Just for another thing, when we were messing around with the firmware update, we had some hiccups and our Z motor stopped working entirely.
That is true. I forgot about that.
So we just went back and did the firmware update and the new software, and now we're all good to go.
So you also had a Z motor with the new update.
Yeah, we totally lost it.
Yeah, we could hear it humming, but it wouldn't move for us at all.
Yeah.
So we had to flash the firmware again.
And now we're all good.
And I'm gonna check out and see here.
Yeah,
And
I did have.
Go ahead. Dude.
We couldn't. It doesn't seem to want to go back to like the center of our workpiece, like our home.
Yeah.
Even though our calibration's getting tighter and tighter, does that not matter?
Home does matter a lot.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that you have home is the exact center of your work area. So you want to actually measure the distance between your, like the edges of your board, both across and from the top, and then find the exact center. So, you know, instead of just measuring 4 feet in, you want to make sure that it's for your board, because it might be off by like 1 inch or 2, or even like 3/8 of an inch or something like that. You want to make sure that it is like across and you have the exact center, and then like put an X on there. So like you probably can't see it too well, but I have like an X down here on the bottom of mine that's on here. And like, so you know where it is. And then when you are booting it up and you have home, and when you tell it to go home, it always goes to that X that's right there. And then if you want to start in another spot, you use the work offsets, which that's that column there on the right. So then you're moving and setting like another home. It's like a fake home on where it thinks it's going. And the reason that it needs to know where original home is for the calculation of the cuts. Because if you just keep changing the original home, it's changing the geometry of those 2 right angle triangles that I talked about. And now it's trying to like squeeze them over here, squeeze them over there. So if it's not in that exact center, then that can cause it to do some kind of like weird things. And that could be why like getting it tuned in, if it's not at the exact center, that could be kind of part of it too. So like what I did on mine to find it is I measured it, and then I put that little X on there. And then when my router and I moved it on there, I like moved it above and then like pushed down on the top of it. So it would like kind of push and dent in to make sure that was the center of the X that I drew. And then now I know like that's where it is. And I can like line my bit up exactly with that center.
So how do you set it? Because I didn't see in the new software how you can set home.
It's like for instance, the way when you go through the chain calibration, that's where you at the end is where you essentially tell it, once it does all this like math, it drops it to where it thinks center is. Then you go through and you say, no, we're 3 mil up and 3 mil over, and then it's supposed to go to that center. And then you go through the edge finding, the holy calibration. What we're seeing is it's still not finding that dead center of our board for some reason.
Because your measurement, some of your measurement is off somewhere, where it's either from your motor to your from motor to motor. You got to make sure everything is on point. Like you said, it's all math.
Yep.
Yeah, and it can be tough too. Like you can't round any of the numbers. So, which is hard when you're using a tape measure. Like it's got to be exact.
Yeah, and make sure try to get, if you have of course, if you have a leveler, you know what I mean. That's best. You know, that's your best bet too as well. You know, the only problem I have is what I told you earlier, and it's still doing it right now. Look, let me show you real quick while I'm online. It's literally just the top up here, man. I don't know if y'all can see it. Let me know if y'all can see it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Let me bring it up. And so open it. Oh,
you're talking about where it was bouncing?
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Actually, I have to.
Well, Mike's setting that up. Does anybody else have any questions?
I guess one last thing on the home. So we have our X, and it just never corrects. Even when we do when we're calibrating it, it never corrects itself. Even we tell it, we're off like 1 millimeter left and down 1 millimeter, it never comes back.
So like the machine doesn't come back, or the values don't
come
back
on the machine doesn't come back. Even after we do all the chain work, we hit it, we get like really close, within a couple millimeters, and we do that adjustment, and it never fixes the adjustment, I guess. That makes sense.
Yeah. I wonder have you rebooted it? Does it keep the adjustment if you reboot it?
It does keep the.
Like if you drop the connection and reconnect it again?
Yeah.
And then does that fix it or not? Because it should be saving those values directly on your do board, is what it should be doing.
I mean, it's getting pretty damn close.
I mean, 3 millimeters this is 4 by 8 feet. And 3 millimeters, 25 millimeters is an inch, 25.6. So you're like all the way down here, and this is made for like giant projects, and it's not like a magic box either. Like there's always got to be a little bit of finishing, a lot of stuff that goes in it. And even CNC machines that, you know, are 10 times more expensive than this, getting them tuned into those like tiny little millimeters is hard because it's cutting. And there's so many different variables in the way that it's cutting, and the way that, like, what router you're using, what bits you have, the material you're cutting, like all kinds of things. So like 3 millimeters is pretty good.
Okay.
You can get better, but it's almost like you can drive yourself like insane trying to get it like tuned in. Like mine, I have mine like down to about like 1.8 millimeters about, and it's awesome for the stuff that I'm doing, because I'm making like little coasters and stuff like that is what I've been working on. So this little Rebel Alliance thing that's like cut out right here.
Awesome.
Like practicing with those and doing some small stuff with like a little 1/8 inch bit, and it's been great, because when you're getting into those tiny, because I mean, let's see, where's the caliper? Like to scale, like if we're gonna do something that's, you know, it matters if you're doing something small, but if you do something huge, that's something that you could like sand down and kind of work on. So I just want you to know that you get to you can drive yourself nuts, because I've done it.
Fair enough.
But we really
we try
appreciate
to.
your feedback, though, and to try, because we want to try to get to the bottom of, like, calibration is the hardest part, because it's a kit, and it's a kit that you build yourself, and you build the frame for it yourself. So there's like all these different variables that are into it, like tons of different stuff that'll like put together, because it's like, it's not something that you just get and it's here's all the parts. It's like, well, here's the parts, and you have to get these other things to go in it. So
we'll keep playing with it.
Going good. Don't lose faith. We
have it. We have it.
Because it's hard, and you know, and it took me a while to get mine going too. It took me several days to get mine going before I got up, and because I didn't know about anything about CNC when I was messing with it too. So it takes a bit of it, and to me, it's fun to try to like figure it out until it gets to the frustrating part. You know, like Bill said, he's been working on it for months, and I know that's frustrating, and I don't want anybody to have to go through that. You know, because it's like once it becomes like frustrating and it's not fun anymore, I don't want that, and that's what we don't want. We, you know, like, because some of the troubleshooting stuff is fun until it's not, and it's like, this is infuriating. Why won't this robot do what I want it to do?
Yeah. All right.
We're not burned out. We're still into it.
All right.
And like the whole calibration and stuff, that's what we've tried to change.
I'm frustrated, but I still had
that
fun.
one was really hard, because you're like having to measure the inside of your cuts, and it's only going off of like the distance between motors that has to be exact, your waste board that has to be exact, and then the cuts themselves. So like we tried to get more values with like the holy calibration and the stuff like that. So like I'm gonna take this to Chris and Zane and let them know about it, because they're like the leads of working on the Makerverse like beta version, to see like how can we really dial in that holy calibration so we don't have to go through, and it's not frustrating. We want it to be fun.
Absolutely.
It still is for us.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Hey, like I said, I'm frustrated, but at the same time, I had fun with it.
Okay, good.
That's the main thing.
I mean, you gotta be enjoying. We're only on this planet one time. Might as well have a great time while we're at it.
Probably, man.
Mhm.
Hey, so check it out, guys. This is what I was talking about. When I go to the right, like say I'm gonna go 10 inches to, check it out. See how it jumps?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I do, and I had the same problem.
And it's just up there. Look, see how it's going?
Yeah, I had the same problem. I had to up my top bar even higher, and then it stopped doing that.
Yeah, is yours 18 inches? Do you
I'm
have
at
18 inches there, Mike?
I'm exactly at whatever the manual had said.
What size is your bar?
It is 10 feet.
10 feet?
Yeah.
I'd go a little higher.
Yeah,
I have the 12-foot bar, but mine bounced around like crazy too. And it wasn't until I switched to the 12-foot bar. So it is the height that does it.
So it doesn't do it on other places, only like across the top?
Just right there. That's the only place it does it.
Huh.
Only place it does it. It doesn't do it anywhere else. And like I said earlier, I take off the chains and everything, and I just go to left and right, and the motors are
And I don't. That's why I'm thinking. I don't know if it's gonna be a top bar or not, because I'll literally take off my thing right now, and you'll see the motors go.
So it's the motors are jumping somehow.
Yes, the motors are jumping exactly, and it's just right there. And
There might be something
I
in the map.
thought it was the soft that soft limits that it has, because I knew the new beta has the soft limits. I thought that's what it was, but I turned them off, and it does the same thing. So I was like, it's not that.
Are you? It looks like that your router might be above. Is your router bit above like your workspace? Because maybe it's extended beyond where it thinks your center is. Like it might be extended beyond the measured workspace. So the math is getting confused because it's outside of its like dimensions that were set. You know what I mean? Like, because if it's set on like home, and then, you know, let's say that it was 4 foot 1 inch from the top, and you're like 4 foot an inch and like 3/8 from the top. Well, then you've gone like above the like wasteboard dimensions that it thinks that it is. So maybe it's like because it's above those dimensions, because I think that would make sense if Bill solved that by extending it.
Yeah, I
Because
recalibrated
you're
afterwards.
extending that wasteboard math.
And so now you change the math in the actual software. Gotcha.
That's just a guess.
No. That makes
Yes.
sense to an extent. That does make sense, because then I would have to put in new calculations, of course. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so that's gonna change it. But like other than that, I mean, it runs. If anything, I actually put the board. You see how the board is a little bit below my my actual work piece is below the wasteboard. That
So
way it
is-
doesn't.
When
doesn't
you
do
do
that.
your measurements, oh, sorry, go ahead, Mike.
No.
What'd you
Go
say?
ahead. No, go ahead.
So when you do your measurements, are you measuring your wasteboard or the board that you're working on?
Oh, my wasteboard.
Okay.
My wasteboards, on my wasteboards. That's why I put that down. So if I need the top, it doesn't do that on there, because anything on top
okay.
of that, it will do it. You know,
So where it is right now, it doesn't jump if you go across right there.
right there. If I go on the actual work piece, it won't, because I went down a little bit.
I mean, I don't know. I'm 90% sure nothing's exact, but I'm thinking that might be a math thing.
You know, I'm thinking so too.
You can try extending it, maybe like fake it a little bit, like just, you know, for giggles, and like extend it maybe an inch, like to make sure that you are inside that area. Gotcha. And then like run it and see if it jumps or see if it hops. And then if it doesn't, then that would narrow it down that's what that could be. It could be that math, because it might think that it's outside of its bounding area. Because it's kind of like a 3D printer. If you're trying to print outside the area, it's like build space that's programs. The machine like can't get outside of that. So like if you only have a build area of like 200 millimeters and you're trying to print at 205, it's just gonna bump up against the end, because like the G code's telling it to go over there, but the machine can't go over there.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, though.
That's what I'm guessing, but I don't know. I want to.
I know it's common. I've seen a few people with the same problem on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just me. It's a few people. So it might be some kind of with the math error, like they said about the height and stuff. So that's probably what it is, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so I'll talk to Chris and we can see if maybe that's what, and see if he has an idea of what that could be.
Like when I fixed it, I raised the board. That's after we talked on the Facebook meeting. I raised the board and redid the calibration, and then it stopped bouncing at the top.
Okay, so did you change?
But I went from a 10-foot
measurements?
board to a 12-foot board. So
did you change your wasteboard measurements at all, or just the distance, the change?
when I recalibrated, yeah, I changed everything.
Okay.
Gotcha.
That's making me think that maybe like we should experiment with like moving those calculations in the manual up like another couple inches or something like that. If it's causing that on some people, like to give it some leeway.
Yeah.
More experimenting is needed, but
Basically, what I did to find out for my top board, because I went to 12 foot, I just made sure I had enough chain to reach to each bottom corner.
Yeah. I'm thinking about getting another one so I can put it inside so I can play, but the wifey's not happy about that. So I want another one. Just I want to throw it inside just so I can play with it, man. Like to actually do, you know what I mean? Experiment with it, you know, or vice versa. Have the inside one, the main one, and out here just, you know, just try different things.
Did you see the one guy's post on Facebook?
The one that flips.
He cut the rear end of a cow, and he said he finally got it working. Blah blah blah. First cut after like a month and a half or something, but the wife's still mad at him. And somebody replied, "Well, you should have got a better picture of your wife."
Yes, I saw that one. Yeah, I read that one. I read that one. I read that one. Man, it's funny. I was telling Drew, man, everyone's gonna have a love-hate relationship with this machine. You know what I mean? Just like your old lady, or at least my old lady, I have a love-hate relationship with her. And I'm sure she
You
does the same
program the
with me.
robot though. You can't program your partner.
I know.
You can. You got to make a tape and put headphones on her head.
Right. I mean, I think all in all, it's taken us about 2 months to get to where we are at this point as well, and I feel like we're dialed in. I'm ready to start. I think next step, honestly, is just like, I think I talked to you a little bit about it. It's just like finding the exact sweet spot so we know where we're getting exact precise cuts, and then kind of just work with that, right?
How close are you, Vincent? Like, are you within like a millimeter or two on yours?
Well, when we're actually making cuts in the like sweet spot area, it's dead on. It's perfect. Like within 0.5 millimeters.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, sweet.
We've gotten it good. It's just, once again, it's when you get up into the upper extents that it starts drifting, but I think we understand that and we can work around it now.
Yeah, it's like things like the reason that we talk about sometimes like a broken record about things is because it's like there's so many small things, like even if you're going all the way across the board and it's bowed a tiny bit and then your router bit is catching as it's going, then that's over time that's gonna like slow it down as it's going across and then not get it to cut all the way over, because it's kind of slowly catching and spinning. The plunge depth matters on that too, because if you're trying to cut too deep, then it's going to slow it down, and it's like almost dragging your bit across instead of it cutting like at the speed that it needs to cut at. It's like dragging it across your material or something. So there's a lot of variables to get it tuned in for sure. So does anybody else have any questions on there? Howard or Mike Ryan?
I have a simple question on Facebook. Which group are you talking about?
So that's the Maker Made CNC owners group. I'll post it in the.
Okay, thank you.
I'll post it over here for you. Yeah.
Hey,
If you look under the resources on the website, it has a link to it too.
Okay.
There you go. There you go. You can tap on it.
Oh, see, I saw that one pop up.
Oh, okay, good.
Hey, you know who's making some real nice stuff is that guy from Scotty B LEDs.
Oh yeah, those LED signs are awesome.
They're nice.
Those are great.
They're very nice.
Okay. He's working on getting those in the marketplace too, so then people can have those files and you can make like your own custom like LED signs and stuff. Yeah. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. They're awesome.
Does anybody have any more questions? You're feeling pretty good?
Nope, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna send you an email. What do you want me to put in the email? Just that we talked in this meeting and.
Yeah, just say that we talked in this meeting, about that Z-axis issue, and I'll know what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it helps for me to have things in writing. That's why I write down notes all the time. I have like notes all over the place and checklists and things, and so having it in writing is good.
Notes on a screw box.
Yeah, notes on notes. Yeah.
Yep, notes.
All right, guys.
Thanks.
So, you bet. Yeah. So if you have any more questions, we're doing these on next Tuesday instead of Thursday because it's going to fall on Christmas Eve. So we'll be here Tuesday too to help out. I'll be here and at least, and then maybe some more people we'll see. But we'll be doing it Tuesday and then at the same time, and then the next Tuesday, and then back to the regular Thursdays. So if you need anything, you can message us at support@makermade.com and we'll get you rocking and rolling. All right.
Drew, just one more question for you while I got you on here. If you're gonna send me that cable, would I be able to? Because I'd love to get it like real quick. would I be able to pay extra shipping?
You'll get it by tomorrow. You'll probably get it by tomorrow. I had a problem with it, and literally I talked to someone.
Everything they send me takes a little over a week.
Yeah, it might be because
I'm in Canada, right?
Oh, you're in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they send it
I'll
ground
try to get to you
mail,
as fast
like
as possible. Like,
FedEx ground.
when you send that to me, I'm gonna send it to Joel and have him get it shipped to you as soon as we can.
Okay.
I can't promise you an exact time because shipping is all over the place right now. Like, even
Okay.
if you-
Also, they sent me when I had the bad board. They sent me a new board. He said there'd be a return sticker inside. There wasn't. So I still have the old board. If you guys want it back, you could send me a return sticker for that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you want to put that in there too, we can get that back and then we can maybe see what your problem was with that board too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the board just says it can't find the position of the machine anywhere.
Okay. Weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, send me that email and then we'll get it today and try to get it in the mail. It depends when they pick up. But usually if we did it in the afternoon, it might get out today. If not today, tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, because I got a little bit of time. I told work the meeting started at 11 and you actually start 10 o'clock my time. So.
I'm glad we caught it.
Hey, you were being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
All right, guys.
yeah, I'll send you that email right away.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, everybody have
Thanks a
a
lot.
Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays, and maybe I'll see you in the next session.
Hey,
All
Drew,
right.
I after this meeting, do you have a few minutes to talk? You and I can catch up? After, if I call you or email you? You call,
Yeah,
call me. Call me when you have a second. I'd love to talk to you. Go.
Okay.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thanks.